तो मतलब
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here first one topic is DHCP, another topic is DNS. Originally there is a big story is there, and normally we'll tell some practicals also, but I'm not doing anything. Simple, what is DHCP, what is DNS. Even that is also will take time, not that much simple it is. Okay, it will also take time. Okay, so first one is we'll take this information and keep it in our notes. Okay. What is DHCP? Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. DHCP server assign IP addresses to the clients automatically. You can tell assign or a configure. DHCP server configures IP address to the clients automatically. Guys, you have a network, for example, you go to NCPA. Okay, so I have a adapter, then I have some IP address. So this is a manually configured IP address. How I know? DHCP enable no means IP address is configured manually. So for example, I go to properties, then IPv4, then this is manual configuration. Use the following IP address and then I send a IP address. Okay. So in manual configuration of IP addresses, what will happen? So we can configure IP address manually. That IP address we call it as a static IP address. That IP address we call it as a static IP address. You can configure IP address manually and automatically. Manually configured IP address we call it as a static IP address. What is this? You have to go to each and every PC and configure an IP address. You have to go to like this, properties, IPv4 properties, and you have to give IP address here. Okay. So one by one you have to configure. Okay. More number of devices are there. It is difficult to assign IP address. Think like this, guys. I have one device, one IP address. Good. For example, I have 100 computers. 100 computers, you have to give IP address by going to one by one. What will happen? It's a little hard work, right? So it is, you have to go to each and every PC and you have to go through their control panel, log in as a administrative rights. Okay, and you have to go to your adapter, you have to go to IPv4, properties IPv4, and then you have to assign a IP address. So 100 computers, it is difficult. 200 computers, very difficult. Okay, 500 computers, very, very difficult. Right? Second one is, while assigning an IP address, people do mistakes. You know, when I said type IP address 192.168.10, I have seen this kind of stuff. When I said give this IP address, what people will do? They put a 172.168.10.11 or 190.68.10.11. So what happened? What is this? This is different, right? So it's they're entering wrong IP addresses. They're entering wrong IP addresses. So there is a two machines. For example, this is two machines are there, or multiple machines are there. I said SN IP address. Here it is .11. Here it is .12. But what people do, they don't listen. They listen. Here it is a .11. This is also .11. What happened? Same IP address generates conflict. Wrong IP addresses won't communicate. Same IP addresses conflict and they won't communicate. Okay. So it is a possible entering wrong IP addresses or conflict IP addresses means same IP address is assigned more than one device. Okay. This is the things may happen. And another part, IP addresses assigning is not known by everyone. People are using a computer, most of them even related to IT or non-IT. Even the IT related people, CSC backgrounds, people also, IT background, CSC background people also don't know how to assign an IP address, right? Most of the people don't know, right? So for them, learning is easy, but most of the people are people who are using, like my father is using a mobile phone, my mother is using mobile phone, my nephew using a laptop and mobile phone. Okay, so there are a non-IT, they don't know what is an IP address, but how they will assign an IP address. Okay, so this is no permanent IP address kind of stuff, right? So IP address can be given anytime. So it is a possible wrong IP addresses, conflicts, not everyone knows how to assign IP address. Next one is not only computers, guys, different devices are there nowadays. For example, printers, network printers. We can give print through the network, through Wi-Fi network or a wide network. We can give print. Printers are there, smart printers are there, mobile phones are there, tablets are there, TVs. Now we are getting a smart TVs. Directly we can connect internet to our smart TV, right? Smart LEDs, light bulbs, LED bulb. LED means not LED TV, LED bulbs, smart switches, smart appliances. They're all connecting now personal area network, home area network. I told that one is different devices. So we are connecting in the network. So they need an IP address, but you cannot give IP address. Not much easy. So what to do? Better we go for a automatic. What is this automatic or a dynamic IP address? We have a DHCP server. We have a DHCP server to assign an IP address to the clients. Assign IP addresses to the clients. Client devices. Client means client devices. Client is not person here. Client is a device here. Okay. I have a laptop. I will get an IP address from DHCP server. My adapter will get IP address from DHCP server. So how to get IP address from DHCP server? First of all, in your adapter, go to your properties, IPv4 properties, and then select obtain IP address automatically and obtain DNS server automatically. So you are telling obtain IP address automatically means you're telling to your adapter get IP address from DHCP server. If it is find where is any DHCP server, it will get a IP address. So it found some DHCP server. This is the DHCP server. It got IP address from DHCP server. So you can see IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, and DHCP enable yes. Right. So default gateway is not there, but DNS server is also not there. DHCP server is there. Enable is there. Means I got IP address from DHCP. Okay, obtain IP address automatically means I got IP address from DHCP server. Guys, I am connected in my office. Based on my office network, I will get an IP address from the office DHCP server. In office, I have a DHCP server. I am getting a IP address from that DHCP server whenever I connected to office network. If I go to home means evening, I go to home, I open laptop, I download the recorded videos, upload into YouTube. That is the first duty I have to do it, right? So there is another network. In home, I have another network. When I connected to that network, in that network, the DHCP server will give me an IP address. give me a IP address. So IP address is not permanent for your adapter. Okay, it can be changes based on where you are connected. What is that network? What is different network they use it, right? So that is the point. We can change network IP addresses also changes automatically. What is I've written? So when we change the network, so it is the point is that's the same point I told. When I change my network from my office to home or home to office, okay, based on that network, that DHCP server give me an IP address. Okay, your IP address automatically changes. That's why it is a logical address. That's why it is a logical address. Okay, and because of you are not configuring IP address, DHCP server following the priority kind of list, like if you follow a list kind of stuff. So whenever you connect to your network, that DHCP server give you an IP address, and you won't get configured with the wrong IP address. Or conflicts will be reduced. Wrong IP address enters not be there. Possibility no or a less possibility of wrong IP addresses or conflicts. Okay, not everyone required to know how to assign IP address. Simply they should connect it to network. In the network, the DHCP server will give you an IP address. Okay, not everyone required to know how to assign an IP address. And we are using different devices like a printer, smart TVs, smart LEDs, mobile phones, tablets, okay, smart plugs. So different network connecting devices are there. For them, it is very difficult to assign IP address manually, but DHCP server assign IP address different type of these devices. Okay, so that is about your manual and automatic dynamic IP address and DHCP server. Guys, understand anything? Any part? You may already know. Already you know. So in our network, in our home network, for example, we don't have any separate DHCP server. We don't put any separate DHCP server. We have a Wi-Fi router and we are connecting. But where is the DHCP server? Your Wi-Fi router is act like a DHCP server. Your Wi-Fi router is act like a DHCP server. The DHCP server can be your Wi-Fi router, or your DHCP server can be your DHCP server can be your Wi-Fi router, or maybe a Windows server, or can be a Linux server. So you can maintain as a separate server, or maybe by default your. So you can see DHCP scope means the IP addresses, or a scope means there is a range of IP addresses mentioned in the DHCP server. In DHCP server, there is a range of IP addresses mentioned. So whenever the client is request for an IP address, so DHCP server gives an IP address. DHCP server don't give IP address for a manually configured networks. For example, my laptop I configured manually, so I don't get IP address from DHCP server. Why? Because you are already having an IP address and you don't ask DHCP for a IP address. Okay, understand? So you are manually configured an IP address to your device or an adapter. So adapter not required to ask a IP address to DHCP server. Okay, so when client DHCP client ask a DHCP server and the DHCP server gives an IP address. Once you got a DHCP server IP address, for example, you can see you will get IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, DHCP server address, DNS server address, lease expiry, lease obtained, lease expiry thing. Okay, so this is about your small information about DHCP server. That is enough. Okay. Of course, there is a process is also there, guys. DORA process, all kind of stuff. And this is also you know already, so I'm not giving anything. This is manually configuration. This is automatically configuration. This is a DHCP client. This is not a DHCP client. Why it is not a DHCP client? Because you configured manually. It is a DHCP client. Why? Because of obtained IP address automatically means you want to get IP from DHCP, then you are become a DHCP client. This is a small information and it is very useful in the troubleshooting also. In networking troubleshooting, guys, sometimes you go and check an IP address of a machine, okay, and you check the IP address of a machine, it is showing 169.254 dot something dot something. So that is we call it as a APIPA, automatic private IP address. Automatic private IP address. Why you are getting an APIPA? If your system is unable to get IP address from DHCP server, you have an adapter and your DHCP server is not there. You are connected to your network and you want to get IP from DHCP server, but you are unable to get an IP address from DHCP server. Again, I'm telling you are connected to your network and you should get IP address from DHCP server because obtain IP address automatically. You should get an IP address from DHCP server. Okay. Okay. But you are failed to get a IP address from DHCP server, then your system assign an IP address from APIPA range that is called 169.254.0.1 to 169.254.255.254. Okay. When you change the network, IP address changes accordingly connected to network. If it is not changes, then something it is there. Okay. So normally this is APIPA, guys. So based on your MAC address and APIPA range, your system assign an IP address. If you are failed to get a IP address from DHCP server. This is somewhat another point, guys. One is if you got APIPA, what to do? Or you change the network, means I disconnected in my office, I went to my home, then I should get a other IP address based on my home network. But it is still showing my old IP address. Still showing a old IP address, not a new IP address from my home. In that cases, and you got a APIPA kind of stuff. So what to do is very simple. You can go to this ncpa.cpl, right click on NIC, click disable and enable. Okay, disable the adapter and enable the adapter. Okay, easiest way is go to ncpa.cpl, you already know. It's a control panel application. Okay, so just right click on adapter, disable it. So once you disable it, so it is got disabled now. Or to enable it, either double click or just enable. So what will happen? So this will try, the adapter will try to get a new IP address from your DHCP server. Okay. Or otherwise you can use the command called ipconfig /release to remove the old IP address or flush the old IP address. ipconfig renew means to get a new IP address from DHCP server. So to remove the old IP, release. To get a new IP, renew. Okay, this is one more point. Okay, so now your commands, guys. Ping command, trace RT command, ipconfig command, ipconfig all like that. So check the commands. I think I told already, well, networking. Otherwise, please check it. Guys, sorry, okay, up to now, DHCP.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Very good. I already sent one video for a VPN, okay, and otherwise I will send one more video related recording part also. Okay, here it is. Topic is DNS, guys. The next topic is DNS, dynamic, not a dynamic, it is a domain name system. What is DHCP? Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. Port number is 6768. DNS, domain name system. Port number is 53. Okay. It maps name to IP address. DNS servers. Okay, returns the IP address of host name. That's something it is written. The explanation is given here. Okay, so I will explain now. In DNS server contains the information of names and their IP addresses. For example, here I will write. Okay. This is my server. Okay. Okay, no. I am taking google.com as a domain name just for explanation, guys, not an example. It's just for explanation. I am telling one thing. What is that? I am taking google.com, not www.google.com. Listen carefully. Google.com. Google.com is one name only. Okay, it is a domain name, not https www.google.com is URL. URL is a different. URL is a different. What is URL? HTTP or HTTP www.google.com is URL, not a domain. This is not domain. It is a URL. Okay. In this one, mainly it is a google.com is a domain name. And what is www? It is a web server. A server, web server, one server. It contains information. You know, when I'm trying to send a mail, gmail.com is there, no? Gmail.com is mail.google.com. If you open a gmail.com, you can observe the name shows mail.gmail.com, which is under google.com. Okay, so I will clean this one and I will write again. So how you type www.google.com is a server. It contains information. It is a mail server. Now we are using Google Docs, right? What is the name? devocs.google.com we are accessing. Okay, it is our server name. Okay, you know, if you are going to meet online meeting, meet.google.com, meet.google.com. Maybe Google Drive will show us drive.google.com. Then I will check it once. A lot of google.com. So there is a lot of services are there. First of all, searches, news, YouTube, Gmail, drives, photos, shopping, classes. See, drive.google.com. That is a different services, right? That is a different services. So, what is the common in all the things, guys? Google.com. That is a domain name. Okay, that's the main name. It is a hierarchical part. Don't go with the Active Directory part. It is go to hierarchical part.com. Under that one, there is a different servers. Each server has a certain IP address. Each server having some IP address. Just for our understanding, I'm giving some IP address. Okay, just for our understanding, not for their understanding. Okay. So each server having an IP address to access their resources. We should access anything in the network through IP address only, not with the names. So I am the client person. I am a client. I am trying to open docs.google.com, for example. So I type a docs.google.com. I am typing name only because I don't know what is the IP address of docs.google.com. I don't know. No? So I don't know the IP address of docs.google.com. So what will happen? This machine, so you have a all in my adapter is configured with a DNS server. What is my DNS server? So these are two DNS server names are there. IP addresses are there. So my request go to DNS server, my local DNS server. First of all, request go to local DNS server based on your adapter configuration. It go to local DNS server and ask a question, what is the docs dot, what is the docs dot google.com IP address, google.com IP address. Of course, local DNS server will send that information and search for it, and finally it is found the IP address of google.com, then it will returns to our machine IP address of docs.google.com. Then I can able to communicate to this docs.google.com with an IP address. This is what happens at. Okay. So somewhere this google.com DNS server is there. And there is so many middle kind of stuff is there. I'm not going to tell that one. Here it is how it is www. It belongs to google.com. First of all, the list is belongs to google.com. Mapping. Okay. Name to IP address. IP address is this one. Next, what is the mail.google.com? So mail 1.1.1.2. DOCS is belongs to 1.1. So what happened? Somewhere like your ISP to some .com servers. Okay, finally it reached this DNS server. Find docs.google.com and returns to our client. Return to our client. Client will send an IP address, return to our client. So we got an IP address. Then we'll communicate with the IP address. This is what DNS hierarchy will do, guys. DNS server contains information about IP address of different servers. So all communications by IP address only. You cannot communicate with the names. Okay. We need a IP address of I open www.google.com. We need an IP address of www.google.com. our PC send a request to DNS server and ask an IP address of google.com, www.google.com. DNS server return the IP address of www.google.com. Now we can reach the www.google.com server with an IP address. One example for DNS explanation, guys, that is a mobile phone contact list. Mobile phone contact list. What is a mobile phone contact list, guys? You have a lot of mobile phone numbers are there, right? Currently, I have a two phone numbers. Like my parents are having a phone number, telephone number. My sister having telephone number. It is difficult sometimes. It is. Okay. We cannot remember all the phone numbers. What we do, we'll create a contact list. In the contact list, what you put it, name and phone number. When you dial, so you open your dialer, right? Okay, you open the name. For example, I want to call to Sai sir or someone like I want to call. I will open the name. I click on the name, call, right? But actually, call going with a phone number only, not with a name. Just names are knowing to identification, remembering easy, recognition is easy. But phone numbers are difficult to remember, but we are communicating with the phone numbers only. Same way in a network, we are all communicating with IP address, but we cannot remember all servers or all domain servers. That IP address we cannot able to remember. So what we are using a DNS server. So then when you are trying, you have a name and you want an IP address, request go to DNS server, DNS server returns an IP address of that particular server or particular machine, particular system. Okay. Here's an example. I got it from here. You can see. I'm pinging to www.google.com. I don't know the IP address of www.google.com. Okay, first of all, I will get an IP address of www.google.com. Then I will try to ping. I'll send a ping request to the www.google.com. How I got this IP address? I got it from DHCP server. From DNS server. Where is your DNS server? So you have to check your IP address. When you are checking an IP address, your IP address is already configured with a DNS server address. Okay. This is total hierarchy, guys. There is sort of names, hierarchy, forwarders. This is totally how you will get it. So this is my PC, docs.microsoft.com. Request go to my local DNS server. So in your home, you may not see your DNS server, but there is a DNS server in your home. Which one is? Your router, your Wi-Fi router act like a DNS server because you don't need to do anything. Simply it will forward to the forwarder. This forwarder is maintained by ISP. ISP is actually knows where is this dot servers under the root domain servers, and under root domain servers top level domains like .com, .org, .in, their server IP addresses, and you have to go to the top level domain and find out where is a Microsoft.com and their IP address. Get a Microsoft.com and go to Microsoft.com and ask what is the docs.microsoft.com IP address. So your forwarder got an IP address, send it to local DNS server, local DNS server give it to you, and you will communicate with the docs.microsoft.com with an IP address. There are a lot of information that is not required to you. This is also good information, storages and all. So if you want, you can read it. Okay, guys, this is the DNS. Okay, domain name system. It returns the IP address of a particular server, like for a name of a server. Like that you can say, like my machine. You know, it maps name to IP address. It returns the IP address of a particular device or a host or a server or a machine kind of stuff. It is in the domain, in a particular domain. That's your DHCP and DNS.